I know we were expecting some new developments this weekend, but some of them have failed quality control. Make sure you indicate what you'd like redeveloped via the workstation.
Your reputation with the team depends on a number of factors: conduct on track, interview responses, and whether or not you're satisfying your current contract terms. The higher your reputation with any given team, the more we'll be able to push for in contract negotiations.
Welcome to the Hungaro for this weekend's Hungarian Grand Prix. But before we start to worry about race day, let's focus on today's practice, which is about to begin. I'm here with Anthony Davidson once again. Nice to see you, Ant, and I wanted to ask you about how you go about improving the car over the course of a practice session. How much would you say is already known from the pre-race simulations, and how much do you have to do, how much do you have to work on with a real car on a real circuit?
Well, that's a good question, Crofty, and I suppose the simple answer is that there's no such thing as too much information. As you say, the bigger teams have very complex simulations, vast numbers of clever people crunching the numbers back at base, but what they can't tell you is stuff like how the track condition's going to be, or what the temperature's going to be doing over the course of the day, and how all of that's going to be interacting with the tyre. There are so many millions of tiny variables involved in getting these cars around a racetrack quickly, but the computer can't tailor the car to a driver's specific balance requirements. At some point, you still need to put a human being in there and have them feel it through the seat of their pants. And that's why we end up with different drivers having different setups. So what I'm trying to say is, Crofty, nothing beats on-track testing.
Fans really seem to enjoy that. You made it look easy. How do you feel this season is going for you? Is the car competitive? You put in a lot of time on the track today. Was there a reason for this? Appreciate your time.
Race fans, and here we are again for qualifying at the Hungaro Ring. Who will have tuned the perfect setup for their car? We'll find out soon. It always looked like the kind of track that asks an awful lot of the rear tyres, such as the frequency of low-speed exits.
No matter how good a driver is at managing their throttle application to limit rear slip, they can't always overcome a car that's inherently bad at looking after its rear tyres. Here we have a lot of low-speed corner exits, which means a whole load of energy, heat and tyre wear.
That's P2.
tomorrow. But before we go, let's quickly remind ourselves of our top three, who are Hamilton, Verstappen and Sebastian Vettel. Goodbye for now then, but we're really just getting started. Make sure to join us again for Lights Out tomorrow. We've seen some astonishing Grand Prix here over the years, haven't we? The drama of 2015 is a recent example. Jenson Button's first win on a wet track in 2006, or in 1997, Damon Hill's heartbreak in the Arrows after a late gearbox failure cost him what would have been the team's only ever victory. What a wonderful place this is to come racing today. 14 corners then for our drivers to navigate in the rain today. It's 6 lefts and 8 rights around a lap, and there are a few places where it's very easy to run wide in these conditions. Accidents are not uncommon here, so we may see a safety car out at some point during the race. It's not going to be plain sailing for our drivers today, although with the sky falling as it is, perhaps sailing isn't too far from the truth. Anthony Davidson, could be a wet one today. Great to have you with us. What are your thoughts?
It is a touch damp, isn't it? Well, as a driver, there are 3 big things to worry about when racing in these kind of conditions: standing water, tyre temperature and visibility. Judging distance to the cars around you is really tricky when you're driving through the vast amounts of spray that these wet weather Pirelli tyres kick up.
We're almost ready to go then, and this is what the starting grid looks like for today's race. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and starting alongside in P2 is Sebastian Vettel. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Raikkonen, Ricciardo, Valtteri Bottas, Crofty, Verstappen, Hülkenberg, Perez and Kevin Magnussen, Ocon, Sainz, Romain Grosjean and Leclerc, Ericsson, Gasly, Brendan Hartley and Sergei Sorokin. Alonso and Lance Stroll rounds off the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track.
Excess of fuel, we can turn up the engines. Exit now. You'll be racing as you leave the pits. Only 1 stop to go. 1 stop left. This is Jeff. I need you to stop cutting the corners. If you keep it up, the stewards will award you a penalty. The distance to the leader is 16.3 seconds. it. Exit now. Look after these tyres now. Yellow flag. Okay, we need some energy harvesting. Reduce ERS deployment. That's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
And as we can see, it's time for the podium, and as the drivers make their way out, there's a familiar red suit making its way to the top step. Fantastic win for Ferrari. Let's take a look at the driver's standings. Well, the lead at the top has come down after a poor result for our points leader. Now then, Anthony Davidson, who was your driver of the day?
Well, I think it has to be Fernando Alonso. He got the strategy spot on and consistently had the pace to come through as well.
And now let's take a look at the constructors' standings. Mercedes have extended their lead at the top of the standings. There was also a strong showing from the McLaren team today as they make their way up the standings. There'll be plenty more twists and turns to come this season. I hope you can join us at the next race to see just who will come out on top.
Good day today. Tell us about it from your perspective. Do you think your rival learned from his battle with you? You're beating all expectations. Would you say we all underestimated you? Things were close between you and your rival, but it looks like you're coming up top, doesn't it? How do you feel the weather affected the outcome today? Appreciate your time.
That's a great result. You did really well. I don't think we can have any complaints with that performance.
Here we can adjust the terms of our proposal. The more ambitiously we set our targets, the more willing the team will be to give us better perks. We'll have a few chances to suggest a deal, but we need to be careful. If a proposed contract exceeds your value to the team, it will be rejected, and too many attempts will leave us stuck with the original offer. They aren't coming round to that proposal. Let's try something else. All right, the terms have been agreed. All that's left is to sign the paperwork. You'll be on this new deal from the next race weekend. Invitations to new historic events. You'll be able to choose whether or not to participate before the end of this weekend.